Hey everybody, we're back. Next episode. Shane and Daniel coming at you here. Daniel, how you doing, man?
Hey Shane, what's up, man? Doing amazing. How are you?
Good, good. Doing good as well, dude. Today we're going to talk about the scary thing, asking somebody out, trying to get a phone number, trying to get a first date, or after you get that number, how do you get that first date? You know, um, this is a question that I think a lot of us, probably struggle with, maybe we've had issues with, or we overthink it, or we get in our heads, um, or we're going to fear rejection, so we don't even do it at all. Um, yeah, Daniel, what experience have you had like with this, or what do you think?
I think you're on point, bro. I think we overthink what we need to do in order to approach somebody and ask for their number or just ask them out, like on the spot. We make it more complicated than it should be. It shouldn't be that hard. Uh, I feel like right now, after all the experiences I've had in the past,
Mm-hmm.
it should be really simple. You should decide the type of person, the type of girl that you like, have your standards, and then once you meet that person, just be open to ask them out, like without waiting too long. The longer you
Yeah.
wait,
Yes.
the less likely she's to take you up on the invitation. So just be honest, be straight up about it. Hey, I really like the way you behave. I really like your personality. Be honest about what you like about that person,
Mm-hmm.
and then just ask them out. At the end of the day, if they reject you, then I mean, she wasn't for you in the first place. So what are you afraid of? What do you think?
Well, yeah. I mean, it's you have to. I think again, this whole our videos here, our podcast, it's for men and women. And I was thinking while you were kind of saying what you were saying there that I don't think it matters if you're a man or a woman. It's really the same process. You're let's just say it's at a singles event, right? You're at some mixer or something.
Mm-hmm.
You'll walk. You can. A man can walk up to a woman, or a woman can walk up to a man. Introduce yourself, and it can be almost anything. It could be about the weather. It could be about the situation, the venue, what you're drinking, something they're wearing, doing or holding, whatever it is, and just start talking. And yeah, small talk, unfortunately, is kind of a part of social interaction. I know some people, especially introverts, myself included, don't
Mm-hmm.
like small talk really, but it's something that you have to get good at. You have to accept. It's part of it's just part of the whole situation. So you just start off with some small talk. Then you kind of go to the next level. You start asking maybe a question or two. It's a little personal, not too personal, but asking things. Now, yeah, you can ask the where are you from? What do you do? Those are
Mm-hmm.
pretty boring standard questions. I guess you can make that part of small talk, but maybe ask them a deeper question or make sure you really active listen. Ask them a follow up question. Oh, what was that like? Or how'd that make you feel? Or oh, why'd you want to become a nurse or an accountant? Things like that. Really make them think or ask open ended questions. And you kind of just go from there. And then when you feel like there's maybe a connection going, there's some potential there. And this could be over the course of a minute or two, it could be over the course of 10, 20 minutes, just depends. Then you really, if you feel like there's some interest there on both sides, you ask them out. You ask for their number. You can even try to go for an instant date. Um, like Daniel said, you don't want to wait too long, but you don't want to go too soon either. Typically, I mean, again, it depends on the situation. If you don't have much time, you can just ask for a number and say, "Hey, I saw you here. I want to try to get to know you better. Let me grab your number. Let's try to talk on the phone, or let's meet up for coffee." And you'll obviously, when you ask them out, they're going to tell you yes or no, and then you know. And if it is a no, don't take it personally and just realize that they're actually doing you a favor because they weren't a good match for you. and they're going to save you a lot of time and trouble and headache. And if they say yes, then great. And just make sure you follow through on what you say. You know, text that person and just get to the date. Don't him ha. Don't become texting buddies. No one likes that really, unless you're just bored, I guess. But yeah, what do you think about that, Daniel? Or what are your experiences?
Yeah. So again, having expectations doesn't really help us.
Yep.
So, and then we also need to decide, what are we trying to do here? Are we trying to get this other person to the date, or are we trying to date them long term? So if you want to get them to the date, then you don't really need to take too long. You can, like Shane was talking about, just let them talk first. I mean, she might be busy with her friends or his friends at the time, and you know, you don't need to take a lot of time from that person. So
yeah,
the faster you just go for the invitation, the better. And then once you get to the date, then there is a different procedure, right? You become really curious. I think that was one of the best advice I got from a friend once. He told me to become really interested in the person, like genuinely interested in what the other person, you know, was about. And so all I did was ask questions. And if I mean, for men especially, you know, usually we want to project a lot of status and charisma, and that's why sometimes we talk a lot, because we want to impress the woman. But what he recommended was to do the opposite. Instead of trying to show off by talking a lot, he was like, start by asking them questions, and you just listen to what they say. And he was also like, women are naturally good at talking, and they love to do that. And so that always worked for me. Really, really good advice. And so if you're a guy and you're trying to make a connection and at the same time get to know the other person really well, then I mean, you can just start asking questions and really listen, pay attention to what they're saying. And basically, you know, you're gonna be making the other party happy just by being a good listener. So that's my suggestion. It shouldn't be that difficult to do. And if you ask for the date, or if you let them know that you're attracted to them, that you find them attractive, and they reject you, then no big deal. At least you gave yourself the opportunity to ask somebody out, and that takes a lot of balls and a lot of courage. So good for you. As I was telling Shane before we started the conversation today, I was telling him that dating, you know, getting dates and meeting the right person is a numbers game. So you're gonna have to go through a lot of rejections, some rejections, some successes. You know, if you're gonna be able to find your perfect match, it's gonna take time. So that's why you have to be patient. And of course, there are people that don't have to go through this process, but that's not the majority of us. The majority of us have to go through the numbers and have to be patient. So
yes, if you want to find a quality man or a woman, it's probably not going to just fall right in your lap right off the bat. Yes, it can happen. It does happen. But most likely you have to talk to a lot of people and date some people and figure out, oh, I do like this. Oh, I don't like that. That's a deal breaker, or this is a yellow flag to keep out for next, you know, out for next time, a red flag. I'm sure anybody who's dated or at all really, you notice that stuff, and it's all experience. What I tell myself is it's all experience. Even if you just have a 5-minute conversation, that's experience. One date experience. A 10-year marriage is experience, obviously. So try to just take what you can from those lessons, even no matter how small, and learn from those and try to use them going forward. Now, I wanted to go back a little bit, Daniel, about the asking questions. I want to kind of clarify, and this can go both ways, but I think men are more guilty of this than women on average. Asking too many questions and what's called interview mode. Women do not like this. They don't want you to talk the whole time, but they don't want you to just grill them with questions. You know, you're not Oprah. Um, so the key is asking good questions about good topics. So like I said, maybe not so much what you do. I mean, yes, that's the standard question, but something that maybe, what was your favorite trip, or something that gets her kind of in, gets people in their emotions, especially positive emotions. And then yes, active listening is very important. You need to really pay attention. And when someone's talking and asking, assuming they're answering the question thoroughly, it's not just yes or no, they're going to give you what you can call like hook points. They're going to say certain things. Oh, I went on this cruise in the Mediterranean in July, and the views were amazing, and there was fun activities on that cruise. There's like three things there you could ask a follow-up question about. You know, the weather, the cruise itself, the activities, or you can just a simple, wow, what was that like? Tell me more about that. And then she'll tell you more, or they'll tell you more. And then what you do is you know, from there you can kind of relate it back to yourself a little bit, maybe tell a story about it, maybe a cool cruise that you went on, or like maybe your favorite vacation spot, or just, you know, tell a funny joke about it. And then just really kind of try to make a connection between you two, you know, just try to somehow connect the dots. So for example, you can kind of playfully joke about how, oh yeah, well, you know, we're gonna go on a cruise someday and we're gonna do this, and then you're gonna like, you know, oh, I'm trying to think of a good example. I don't know, you're gonna rob this hot dog cart guy, and I'm gonna have to bail you out of jail. And now it's a funny story, right? Like she knows that they know that you're just being ridiculous and silly, but it's still a fun thing to think about, because who most people like to travel and do adventurous things and try new things, and and it's just makes it for a fun date versus just, what do you do? I do this. Okay. Oh, I do this. Cool. That doesn't. No one likes that. No one likes that. And another good thing to do is, instead of asking lots of questions, yeah, sometimes you have to ask a question. Make a statement instead of a question. Oh, I bet you're a trapeze artist, aren't you? No, I do this. And then she'll tell you what she does, or he'll tell you what you do. So just really just try to be playful. Don't take yourself too seriously, and just have a good time. And like Daniel said, don't have expectations. You know, you're on a first date, just relax. You're not getting married tomorrow. You're not having a second date tomorrow. Just see how this goes. See if they're a cool person. They might not be a good match for you, and that's fine. So I hope that was good information there. So
Yes, it was. It was. Thanks for the clarification, Shane. Yeah,
yes,
I mean that the questions, perhaps I didn't elaborate on the type of questions that you need to be making, but
yes,
I think that if you are genuine, that's what I said. If you're genuine about wanting to know from
yeah,
the other person, then your questions are definitely gonna be naturally good, because you
you're right.
really want to know. You
Yes,
really want to know. So it's not a you know, a pretend type of game that you're playing. No, you're actually, you want to know this person well. You want to know what, you know, what this person thinks. You want to know about their hobbies, and you want to see, you want to find that chemistry. You're in a way sizing them up to see if they're a good match for you, and see you're still holding yourself to a certain standard. And just by doing that, you become more attractive, and, you know, and vice versa. So if the other person has, you know, good information for you, and, you know, you find something that you have in common, then hey, you know, it's a good match. So yes, and something else that you said was about the questions. Oh yes, statements. That's perfect. If you can combine the questions these honest, these genuine questions with statements about what you like, about what you want in, in a partner, then that makes you even more attractive, more charismatic. And so ultimately, I think it's about being yourself truly, and and just letting the what is that expression? Just letting the chips fall where they may.
Yes. Now, we've kind of talked about this kind of more from the guy point of view. So now let's talk about from the woman's point of view.
Mm-hmm.
So, ladies, if you're on a first date with a guy and it's going pretty well, it the same applies to you. Don't necessarily drill him with just tons of questions. I mean, yes, you want to learn about him, sure, but it should be about, in my opinion, it should be about 50-50, 60-40, as far as conversation. But also don't just talk about yourself the whole time. You have to ask him questions. You want to get to know him. I mean, unless you're just out for a free meal, I guess, or just for a fun time, which I guess that happens and that's fine as long as you're upfront about that, or you want to just be friends. But if you truly want to get to know this guy, how can you get to know him if you don't ask him questions? So you have to ask him questions too, and he will like that. And guess what? Usually, so for example, if a good kind of rule of thumb is, let's say you share something that's kind of vulnerable. Like let's say, oh, I don't know, I slept with a teddy bear till I was 10 years old or something. I don't know, I'm just making that up. Mm-hmm. Like that's kind of vulnerable. It's kind of cute, right? We're all kids at once. Most of us probably had a stuffed animal. When you share something that's kind of personal, kind of sensitive, kind of just vulnerable a little bit, the other person's going to be more likely, it doesn't matter who it is, more likely to also share something kind of personable. It's happened to me many, many times when I share something personal about me. And it just makes for a much more authentic and connecting conversation versus that whole just what do you do and what's your favorite color? Like, what does that really tell you about the person? Not that much. You want to know what's on the inside, what makes them tick. And that's what you're there for. The first date is really, to me, a pass fail. Do we get along? Can we talk? If there is awkward silence, is it even awkward? Because you can have silence can actually be not awkward. But of course, we all know it can be awkward too. And does it just soup? Because Daniel, I'm sure we both have had, and everybody's out there listening, we've had great first dates and just horrible first dates. So we know what both of those feel like and sound like. Just having that flowing conversation, there's nothing like it. And now going back to guys a little bit, not that guys don't like this either, but guys, women, they want to connect with you on an emotional level. They're not going to care about the logical facts of I traveled here and I do this and I work and I drive this car. Sure, okay, good to know. But she wants to get to really know you inside. That's what's going to make her feel connected to you. And guess what, ladies, guys, we have emotions as well. So he will feel connected to you if you open up. And I want to get to know him, genuinely get to know him, and ask those deeper questions, ask those follow-up questions. That's how you connect on the first date. So
nice, man. Yes, well said. Yeah, yes. If you're vulnerable, then naturally the other person is gonna want to share something vulnerable as well. So and that's a good tip, actually. I forgot about it. Just everybody is trying to show their best selves, right? Nobody wants to share anything that comes across as a weakness, and that's why this is kind of hard to get. But if you just become really open about showing your weaknesses, in a way you're telling the other person, hey, I'm okay with my weaknesses because I can share them with others, and that helps the other person do the same for you. And that's how you make a good connection right off the bat. So excellent suggestion, Shane. There was something else, but I forgot what it was. But again, this is already when you're at the date, right? When you're sitting, you're having a coffee date, whatever it is. Now, in order to get to the date, going back to yes. what we started with this conversation. you just need to be open to be rejected. You just need to make rejection your friend, because you need to go through the people, you need to go through all these rejections before you get to the date. So I think my best suggestion for getting a date with somebody that you like is having no judgment about being rejected and being okay with being rejected, because it's not going to kill you. You're not going to, it's not the end of the world, nothing like that. You're just, willing um to be rejected, right? You're willing to make a fool of yourself sometimes, because I mean that's what happens. You get rejected, and that's okay. That's part of life. So
Yeah, and we've talked about rejection before. We don't want to harp on that, but it's still always relevant because rejection is part of this whole, well, life, not even just dating, but life. You get rejected at your job or just other things. But yeah, to kind of go back a little bit as well, we're kind of on this point of asking for that date. So for the men out there, again, man, guys, women love a man who goes for what he wants, whether he's going to get rejected or not. Because, yeah, he will get rejected sometimes. But even sometimes, if a woman's on the fence about you, asking for her number or a date or showing that interest might make her, put her over the fence. And I mean, women want to be asked out just like men want to be asked out, right? I mean, there's no woman out there that wakes up and goes, "Oh, I hope I don't get swept off my feet today. Hope I don't find my Prince Charming." Of course, they don't say that. When a woman is single, most of the time, I mean, unless she's really not ready to be in a relationship, which is fine too, they want to meet a great guy like you guys out there, especially like at the coffee shop, the grocery store, at their bookstore, whatever it is. They want that. They would love that. They want to tell all their friends and all that. They want to do that. Now, ladies, I mean, it's 2023. I mean, there's no reason why you can't make, I should say, make a move, but let a guy know you're interested. And a little tip, us guys are a little more, we aren't as perceptive as you as far as body language and those little subtle hints. So you have to be a little bit more obvious with us, but, touch him, really flirt with him, laugh at his jokes, playfully slap his arm, maybe even say, say that you want to go, oh, I want to see that. I've always wanted to see that movie, or I love coffee, or what else? Just, maybe we can grab coffee sometime, or, just, shoot your shot as well. There's nothing wrong with it. I know that rejection is scary. I get it. But again, that's part of life. No one can avoid rejection all the time. So if you think a guy is great, maybe he just isn't getting the signals from you. Make it more obvious, and I bet you he'll see it and he'll ask you out or ask him out, and you never know what could happen. You hate to miss out on the opportunities. So
yeah, I guess that kind of has to do with how the culture is shaped. Women are usually expecting men to take the lead.
Yeah.
But I think that's changing. So don't be afraid to make the first move, right? I don't really have much to say for women, because I don't really know. I haven't really considered the women's side. I don't know what Shane believes about this, but I think in a way, men and women operate differently. We're both human beings, but we have different behaviors. And what men respond to is not the same, as women. But I think that overall, just going for what you want in both scenarios is what we're trying to say here. Our message is to, if you like the other person, at least if you like their appearance, then that's already a start. That's a good start. That will get you to the date. If they reciprocate and they like you back, then both of you can get to the date and figure out if this is something you can take to the next step, and maybe start dating, or eventually even getting married. So, but it all starts with that first approach. So
Yeah, and to clarify, yes, I totally get the dynamics of women want that man to lead and ask him out, and I totally get that. And men, yeah, really, you should be asking out the woman, but sometimes maybe you're just not picking up the woman's signals, and you're not sure. And ladies, guys, the reason us guys sometimes don't ask you out maybe is because I promise you, especially if we think you're attractive, you make us really nervous. We get in our heads. We do want to try to impress. We kind of become we're all mammals and we're all cavemen and cavewomen in the end, right? Even though it's 2023. Our biology kind of takes over. We want to, oh, cute girl. We want to impress the girl. And so we don't act we get in our head and we might get nervous, just like you get nervous around a cute guy, right? So I just want to give you kind of a peek behind the curtain that this is what's going through our heads. We're not just these big blocks of wood with no feelings and no emotions and no, we have imperfections, and so that's what's going on in his head. And so like giving him those signals would help, and he probably will. He should. Well, if he likes you, he'll ask you out. But what I was saying is, women, there's no reason why a woman can't or shouldn't ask a man out if she so chooses. That's all I wanted to kind of say. And like I said, give those signals to us guys, and everybody wins in that scenario. Like I said, women want the men to succeed. They want the men to win, and just like the men want the woman to like them, and we want to all be happy. So
Right.
this is just, it's not being selfish or anything. It's just we all want the same thing in the end, right? We want to just meet a cool person, and yeah.
Yeah.
So
Just know that we're never gonna get to that right person if we don't get out of our heads and start going for what we want. Being okay with getting turned down or being rejected. It's fine. As long as you're putting yourself out there and you're taking action on, on dating someone, then hopefully you're being proactive about it and making your approaches.
Yep. And I think we can all agree on this. No one, men and women, we don't like games when it comes to in person or over text. Just be genuine, be authentic, be cool. Try not to, you have to connect on the first date. You can't. It's hard to connect over text, especially on a deep level. Just try to get to the date, um, and just go into it thinking, hey, I don't know this person that well. I know some basic things probably, right? I want to get to know this person and see what their story is. What are they about? And see what happens. Maybe it's going to be something long term. Maybe it'll be a friendship, or maybe it's going to be just a one time date, and that's fine. Those are all fine. I have close female friends, and they're amazing. I'm so thankful for them. But I have close guy friends as well, and they're also amazing. One of which is Daniel. So you just never know what kind of connection someone will bring to your life. It always brings something. Like I said, it all comes back to experience. Everything is experience, and you learn from that and take from that what you will.
Yep. You gotta roll with the punches, and we're not saying, we're not saying that it's gonna be all rainbows and sunshine. No, there's gonna be there's gonna be a lot of obstacles along the way, and sometimes it doesn't feel good, but it's okay. You need to be, like I said, you need to be willing to put yourself out there and just go for what you want.
Yeah, well said, man. Bottom line, wrap this up. I mean, go out there, be yourself, go for what you want, shoot your shot. Just accept rejection as what is part of the game, and believe it or not, you won't get rejected as much as you think you might. So you'll be surprised some cool people that you meet and what can come out of it. So
I just thought of something. I feel like nowadays, because we have like so many dating apps, we've lost this capacity to make approaches, in person, and we we actually rely on our phones to, you know, to approach these people. Well, not approach, but to message these people. And I feel it's like a cover up, right? We hide behind our screens, and you know, that makes it hard, you know. So it's like this skill of approaching is something you have to develop, and it's not easy. Otherwise, you know, a lot more people would be doing it. So so just know that it you know, if you're struggling right now, we understand, because you know, like right now it's even more complicated to do it. It's even harder to put yourself out there and to actually go for the approach, because nobody's doing it anymore. And so there is only a few people that are, you know, brave enough to, you know, to take action on these problem. But yeah, so that's something I wanted to add. I don't know what your thoughts on these are, Shane.
Oh no, that I agree with all that, but I actually, you made me think of one more point. Sorry to we'll keep this going here a little bit. This also applies to online. So if you are doing online dating, the apps, whatever you want to call them, it's the same rules apply. You get, there's a little bit of, you know, top level conversation, but you get into some flirting, some teasing, some deeper level questions. But really, you want to get, if you think they're a cool person, a cool guy, cool girl, ask them out. You know, or you know, I've had on the apps, it doesn't happen a lot, but it does happen sometimes. A woman will just give me her number, and I love that, because I'm like, cool, that's a good sign, a good signal of like, hey, let's keep this going, versus the
Right.
just back and forth, like, and especially, I mean, there's always exceptions, but like to the men right now, women don't want you to be their pen pal. I mean, if they do, then they're not, then they want attention, and that's not a girl for you. They want you to flirt with them, get to know them a little bit, but they want to get on a date with you. That's how you get to know somebody. Now, words on a screen can only tell you so much about somebody. So people want to meet I mean, especially now that the dating apps are so prevalent, which again, they're good. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying they're bad. They're just another tool to meet somebody. But where we still connect, we're humans. We're social creatures. We have to connect face to face. Having that physical contact and all that, that's how you connect with somebody. So you really want to, like I said, just go through those, get that connection going, ask them out, ask for them, you know, give them the number, or ask for the number, ask for the date, and keep things moving. Don't get stagnant. Go for what you want. That's really, like, we cannot emphasize this enough, guys and ladies. So
yeah we feel your pain, because it wasn't easy for us either. So
yes, I mean, I made that mistake of, I know I've done this before with, like, on the apps, and I just keep asking questions, or just kind of keep like making jokes, and the girl just falls off because she got bored, and I don't blame her. Looking back, I'm like, oh, geez. So like, guys, go for it, ladies. If you want to, I got to ask you out. Throw him your number, or just say, hey, let's meet for coffee. And again, if he's playing games or he just wants a pen pal, you'll know right there, and then you won't have to waste more time. So you will know, either way, you win. You get good information. So yeah, guys, go for it. Be bold. That's how we win in life.
Be bold. Yeah, be bold, for not just for dating, but for anything you
That's
are
true.
trying to accomplish in your life.
Daniel, I think I'm good there. I made any final thoughts from you, or any final
Not
comments to the
really.
audience?
Not really. Just again, just to reiterate what you said, just be open to get the, you know, the no, right? Be open to get rejected, and that's the only way to know, right? If the other person likes
Yep.
you, then great. But if she doesn't, then you keep it moving. So,
And this is what motivates me. One final tip: when I'm in the moments like that, I know that I'm gonna hate not knowing. Oh, would she have said yes, or what could a first date could have been like? Versus,
right.
you get that rejection. I'd much rather have a rejection than not knowing and a missed opportunity. That's what bothers me more than a rejection. So
Amen.
Daniel, my man, this was great. Great insight. I think we brought a lot of value today. So,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right, guys, take it easy and keep it real. We'll see you
we'll
next time.
see everybody later.